Hello everybody, thank you for joining me again today for another Alfred Hitchcock Presents review. Today I will be talking about Season 4, Episode 21, Relative Value, starring Denholm, Elliott, and Torin, Thatcher. And as always, there will be spoilers as I talk about this episode. So, my thoughts on Relative Value. I thought this episode started out amazing. I thought the first half of this episode, it was going to be another 5-star episode, 2 in a row. Unfortunately, I don't think the second half of this episode was quite as good, and I didn't think the ending was all that great either. Although it kind of fits into the plot of the story, I thought the execution of it could have been much better. So, we start with John and Felix, our two main characters, and it turns out John's been writing himself checks out of Felix's account. It's Felix's money. To bet on horses, things like that. He doesn't really seem to need the money. He's just kind of randomly spending it. So they're arguing a bit about it, and Felix says he'll be gone soon and that John will get the rest of the money. But to John's surprise, there's not going to be very much money left there. Well, John doesn't buy this at all. He must think there's going to be more money, I guess. I'm not really sure. So he leaves, and he's kind of walking about. He's checking on the time. He's checking on the scenery. Looking into the water, things like that. So I'm guessing he's plotting something. Then he goes to see this man named Benny about betting on more horses. I think he's just basically building up an alibi at this point. That's what I'm starting to figure out. Then he also goes to a bar, inquiring about a package, things like that. So at this time, he starts walking again. Well, actually, now he's running. All of a sudden, this guy can move at super speed. He had a cane before, which I thought was amusing. He also has a bicycle hidden away, so he's definitely traveling a lot quicker this time around than he did on his first trip. At this point, I thought the episode was really interesting and really amazing. So, at this point, John goes to pay Felix another visit, and it appears that Felix is sleeping. So John decides, actually he burns a check at this point, which I thought was a little weird, but you just got to go with it. So John decides he's going to go in the house, and he basically hits Felix with like a poker or something on the head and does him in, or at least you think this is what does him in. Episode's still good up to this point. So at this point, John goes to the door, acting like he's coming to visit Felix. He says Felix invited him, and there's an officer conveniently there because it's Alfred Hitchcock Presents. John says, I can't get in, so the officer looks around, and John does a great job of playing this off like he doesn't know what's going on. So after the officer looks around a bit, he tells John that Felix is a goner, basically, and there's also a note on the table that Felix says he did himself in. At this point, I was a bit confused. The episode did a good job. I wasn't sure if John wrote this note and it was part of his plan, or if Felix really did himself in, or what. I thought it was pretty good. So then a head inspector comes to investigate the case. It looks like John's alibi is good. He did a good job there. But the inspector says it doesn't add up, so they play out some scenarios with some items similar to a poker. They obviously don't have the poker there. And the theory winds up being that Felix had really done himself in, and he was already a goner when John tried to hit him. The problem is, even though they figured this out, I guess because Felix was already dead, or maybe they just don't have enough evidence against John because of his alibi, they can't really prove it. But, and this is where things really get kind of weird in my opinion, we find out that even though they might not be able to do anything to John, he's actually gone too because the inspector gave John some whiskey, I guess to calm him down or just to be neighborly, whatever, and it had the same poison in it that Felix used. That was how he did himself in. Now there was no buildup or hint of this really at all. And this kind of comes out of nowhere, and it also happens off screen. So the ending is just kind of bizarre and didn't totally work for me, unfortunately, because I thought the episode was really good up until this point for the most part. A few coincidences here or there, but it's Alfred Hitchcock Presents, so you know. Denholm Elliott's really entertaining in his role as John. For me, the ending just didn't totally work, just kind of came out of nowhere. And because we didn't really see anything happen except a body on the floor, it kind of fell a little bit flat for me at the end. But I still think Relative Value is worth a one-time watch, and I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. As always, thanks for your support and thanks for watching.